We have a sick new movement tech that also works really well on controller. This is what we are calling an Insta Mantle Boost, or short, Insta-boost. It lets you mantle boost off super low edges. It of course does work on mouse and keyboard, but what's so dope about it is that it also works really well on controller, because you don't need a fast turnaround. And it uses the new mantle boost, which only needs one button press instead of the really precise 2 buttons for a super glide. And that combination makes it a much easier alternative to the instant super glide or skibbity glide you might have seen around. And after playing around with Insta-boost the last couple of days, I now think it has the potential to shake things up pretty dramatically. The original version was discovered by ItzGreenOut. I think it would be pretty cool if you could follow them on Twitch. Here is how you do it. The first step is to do an instant mantle with a slide. Jump and keep holding jump. Sprint towards an edge and slide. And while sliding, turn around while you continue to hold forward, so your left stick, and continue to hold crouch and jump. This will make you slide backwards off the edge, but the forward and jump input will force you to mantle back up, without you having to do anything. The mantle will happen all by itself. And for this it does not matter how fast you slide off the edge, the mantle will still happen. You need to get good at this slide instant mantle before you can continue to the mantle boost. So here are some tips. The forward input will make your slide slow down and then even reverse direction. So you cannot start a slide too far away from the edge, else the speed won't be enough to make you slide backwards over the edge. But you also can't do the slide too close to the edge, else you might not have enough time to turn around, especially if you are on low sense on controller. If you make sure that you're continuing to hold forward and jump, but you're not mantling, then it's because you have not turned around enough. The mantle works up to 45 degrees to each side. But if you try to have fully turned around before you go over the edge, you are on the safer side. Which is actually what makes this method so much easier. It does not need a precisely timed and super fast turnaround, because we turn around before we even reach the edge. If you still feel like you can't turn around fast enough, you can try letting go of forward as soon as you start the slide. This will not slow down the slide, so you can start it much further away from the edge, giving you more time. But you then need to remember to add the forward input again before going over the edge. So do the variation that feels easier to you. Okay, you can do this slide mantle reliably. Next step is to time the mantle boost. For that you need to let go of the button you use for mantle boost. For me it's crouch. And then press it again. The timing for that is a bit short, so I recommend to enable the full mantle boost UI to practice it. I had more success when I tried timing it a bit too late and then work on slightly reducing my delay, instead of constantly doing it too early cause I'm being too hectic. It really feels like they are two distinct actions. Mantle, mantle boost. Like boom boom. Not ba bum. But beyond that you just have to practice. And it's so worth it. Having an instant mantle boost that is available on controller the same way it's on mouse and keyboard is really dope. Go around and get creative. Test little ledges or rocks you run over. Realize that every platform with a more or less straight edge works. And here are some pro tips. If you want to slide after the Insta boost, you need to hold forward the moment you land. You can do whatever you want mid-air and let go of forward after you initiated the slide. But on ground contact, you need to hold forward, even if you go to the side or turn around to land backwards. You can slide over edges at a very shallow angle. It's only the mantle that's restricted to 45 degrees, not the slide. And also play around with the actual 45 degrees of the mantle. This lets you turn into the direction you actually want to go. You can start holding the jump input during a lot of other movement in preparation for the Insta boost, like jumping into the slide, which lets you Insta boost of various objects much easier. And combining that with the very shallow approach angle even makes Insta glides of thin railings surprisingly easy. But you can also start holding jump mid-air, continue holding it after a climb, or if you press it while uncrouching, you can start holding jump without actually jumping, which also works with the slide.